These are the challenging times that we call ourselves to higher ground. And so this morning, thank you, Barbara, for the beautiful reading on opposites. We're in a world of trouble, war, and we're also in a world of peace. And we have to make some very big decisions and changes in how we understand ourselves and how we understand the world. So that's what I want to talk about this morning and move us to that higher ground so that we can be at peace and to do the work that we as religious scientists, who last week I talked about all the people on the wall, the shoulders we stand on, the people that have walked before us, have reminded us of something so important, that we are the very place where God shows up. The higher ground is right here, and we're calling ourselves to it. So I'd like to start with a story, an old spiritual story about a king and a queen who offered a prize to the artist who could paint the best picture of peace. Many artists tried, and the king and queen looked at so many pictures, but there were two that they really liked, and they needed to choose between them. One picture was a calm, beautiful lake. The lake was a perfect mirror for a peaceful, towering mountain overhead, and there was a blue sky with fluffy white clouds, and all who saw this picture thought, this is it. This is the picture they're going to choose. This is the picture of peace. The other picture had mountains too, but these were rugged and bare, and above was an angry sky from which rain fell and lightning came, and down the side of the mountain tumbled a foaming waterfall. This did not look peaceful at all, but when the king and queen looked closely, they saw behind the waterfall a tiny bush growing in the crack in the rock. In the bush, a mother bird had built her nest. There, in the midst of the rush of the angry water, sat the mother bird on her nest in perfect peace. The king and queen chose the second picture. I feel like we are sitting on a nest. We are mothering a world that needs to evolve into a consciousness of oneness. We're holding in the midst of a waterfall, lightning, crazy skies, something greater. And it might look obscure right now, just like it did in the painting. You don't see it right away. But it's our work together to make it come forth in a fuller and more beautiful way. I just acknowledge each and every one of us as religious scientists that this is the call on our hearts. We have been saying since our inception by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, there is one life. That life is God, and that life is our life right now, in this moment, in this time. So we're unfolding that journey, and it's really a wonderful thing to be together. So in that understanding, I wanted to talk about taking a stand for a future equal to our potential. Taking a stand for the future equal to our potential, not just where we are now, but who we are now. Then I wanted to talk about to begin from the inside out, and then to imagine our future and to do what is ours to do. I know each and every one of us have something unique and special. We're here by divine appointment. That we're here at this time is no mistake. There's a call on our hearts. Every single one of us here, out there in the cosmos, has the strength and the fortitude and the inner presence to do what's yours to do in these times. To sit on the nest with great hope for the future. If you have a little bird, if you're the mother bird and you have the little bird in the nest, you're holding the future right in your hands. And that's what we're doing. So to taking the stand for a future equal to our potential, we're made in the image and likeness of God. We're all children of God, and we're here to heal the sense of separation. That's our work. That's what we're here to do, to stop having an other out there, and to get the skill, the understanding, made in the image and likeness of God. That doesn't leave us powerless, does it? We're creative. God creates, and we're creative beings, and we create with our thinking. We create with our mind, and we create when our mind and our heart align. The creation is magnificent and beautiful. This is our potential to understand who we truly are and not feel powerless. Like I tell you, I watch the news and I start crying and I feel hopeless. And is there anything I can do until I gather myself, get back under the waterfall with my little bird in hand, and just remember who I am. That I'm not powerless by just a prayer, by just sending an intention, by just saying this isn't good enough for humans to be living this way. This isn't enough for us. We have potential to experience and express a world full of love where everyone has food, water, education, grace. I read the statistics on how much money we spend on war and how much money it would take for everyone to be fed, housed, and clothed in the world. We need to make a big change, and this is our moment. I really believe this is our moment, our potential. We are powerful beyond measure. It was Marianne Williamson said, it's not our darkness we're afraid of, it's the light in us. We're sometimes afraid of our own power, to take a stand for ourselves. Personally, this is the paradox of inner and outer life, to take a stand personally about having a great life yourself. This is the inner work. I'm willing to live a wonderful life. And what doesn't serve me, what doesn't work for me, I'm willing to let that go. I'm willing to take a stand for the potential that lives in me, the God in me that wants to express all that it is, that wants to come through me. I'm going to do it. And I might have to be uncomfortable, let go of what doesn't work. But that's the call. That's what we have to do. And then in the outer world, that will start to have a different experience. So it's that call to heal the sense of separation and to have the heart. I read some quotes of Ernest Holmes this week on peace, and he said, love sets the captive free. It is a mighty in its work. And love is the only answer. We know that to love, but love is not an amorphous, very fragile, oh, I love you. Oh, I like that. I'm not dissing that in any way, especially my boyfriend's here. But there is a greater something that's being called, and it's a universal love. It's the God. It's that infinite godness. God is over all of us. We are all children of God. And we know that intellectually, but we have to move the intellect to the heart and to our actions and to think differently. That's all it really takes. I have to think about this differently. Think about it personally in the inner life. If there's something going on for you that isn't working, you have to think about it differently. Because if you take outer actions without doing the inner work, you'll be back there again. And a lot of you know what I mean. I've been there. I'm changing the outside. I'll do this and I'll do that. But why did it show up again? I don't understand. Oh, yeah. I didn't do the inner work. I didn't change my consciousness. And consciousness, this isn't hard to do. The change of consciousness is only saying, I'm made in the image and likeness of God. I have a God that loves me unconditionally. I'm not being sent to hell for anything. I'm not being punished. I am being loved. And I'm letting a story that doesn't serve me or mankind or humanity anymore. I'm moving to a consciousness where I accept, and this is the hard thing, if you've ever been in a relationship, accepting I can be loved. I'm serious, this is the work, and it's beautiful work to do. And we're in a community that does that together in the most lovely ways. So we're very blessed in that. We are the butterfly within the caterpillar. Just know that. That's who we are. We're ready to sprout our wings. I think all the wars, all the inhumane actions we're watching now, the butterflies, my butterfly's starting to emerge, man. I can't take the cocoon too much longer. Telling you, can't do it. So just holding that idea. Then the second point, to begin from the inside out. Here's the work we have to do we have to ask ourselves this question, and in all circumstances, personally and collectively. What do we want the outcome to be? If you have something going on in your life, what do you want the outcome to be? Once you can secure in mind what you want that outcome to be, a lot of things that don't look like that show up. Because that's what has to be let go of if you really want that outcome. That's when the work starts. That's when we start moving. Right now, what do I want the outcome to be? Peace on earth, goodwill to all people. This is a 2,000-year-old spiritual message that we hear once a year in December, and then we go on with our lives. It's a powerful vision. What do we want the outcome to be? Everything that is not like that is up now for us to say, no more. No more. I don't know the action you have to take personally. It might be just sitting quietly, or having more prayer time, or going out in nature, or helping a friend, or making a donation, or doing something. Each of us have something to do, but we have to do it if we want the outcome. So stepping into that, we start on the inside and then we work on the outside, because we can't solve the problem, we know this, at the level the problem was created on. It doesn't work. So we have to change consciousness. And every metaphysician, that is what our work has always been. Change your thinking, change your life, change your thinking, change the world. That's where we're going. So there's the inner peace, the state, the inner work, and the paradox of the inner and outer. The inner work is staying calm in the midst of all this. Think of the bird with the little building the nest and planning for the future. That's the inner work. So while I'm watching all of these horrendous, horrible, inhumane things that are before our eyes, I always have to know that there is something greater at work. And we're part and participating in that something greater. So the inner work is staying calm, and the outer work promotes nonviolence, enough for everyone, a healthy environment, health, education. So I always heard it there is a myth in the culture that always talks about absence. There's always an absence of. And we have to counteract that with the presence of enoughness. If you believe there's not enough money, there's not enough food, there's not enough land, there's not enough love, there's not enough this, you're going to want to get something. You start putting borders and boundaries and protection. We're getting in the consciousness, this is a world that God created. Look at no borders, no boundaries. This is the gift we've been given. We have enough. In my own personal life, I always have to work through the not enoughness, but I always have to speak absence. I have to speak with the truth of presence. There is a presence called God, love, wisdom, grace, abundance. It's here. It's in us. It lives as us, and we're not powerless. We have our moment. But to speak, if you are dealing with not enoughness or absence, to speak truth to that. I am here by divine appointment. I am here to express the life of God. Everything I need will be provided. Everything I need is here right now. I need to stay present to the moment, stay calm in the waterfall, and know this truth about myself. And the third part was imagining and doing what's ours to do. John Lennon released the song Imagine in 1971. It's one of the most sung pieces of music on the planet. It's sung at all kinds of international events, the Olympics. Everyone sings Imagine because the truth of that has grabbed us in some way, because we know we can imagine a world of peace. And once we can imagine it, we can have it. That's the real thing, that once it's imagined, once your mind can conceive it, it can happen. So I loved what Albert Einstein said. He said, imagine, he had this idea when he was talking about imagination, and I'm just going to find, he said, imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited and imagination embraces the entire world. He also said, imagination will get you everywhere, and that it is your preview of life's coming attractions. So we're all imagining something right now, and I know as a community and as people of faith, we're all holding prayer. People have asked me, what should I do? What can I do? I feel so helpless. I want to thank Gay Page for putting together the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. We're going to distribute that prayer to everyone. It's a bookmark. Thank you for laminating them, Paige. If you could all distribute these, please. And I would like to say that and end the talk with that prayer together. That's a prayer of the heart that has been around since St. Francis. And you can keep it, put it someplace right now during these times so you can speak truth to the idea that we're powerless, there's nothing we can do, and that we're helpless. We're not. So if you feel so inclined, I would love for us to pray this prayer together. Everybody, does everybody have one? Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much to seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Please keep this prayer available. Just know that it's been said for thousands of years. We'll continue to say it. And believe me, what we've imagined, we're going to come to see. God is good in the hood. Amen.